There are 5 key numbers, key performance indicators or KPIs in a residential building company's financials that you must be completely across on a quarterly basis. It needs to be quarterly because most residential building companies generate less than 10 million in revenue a year, and their claims can be 6 to 7 weeks apart, which means their monthly income can be a little volatile. So it makes sense to look at your financials quarterly rather than monthly when comparing to the previous period or the same period last year. Hey, my name is Russ Stevens. I'm a co-founder of the Association of Professional Builders. We provide builders with systems that generate more leads, more contracts, and higher margins while improving the client experience. If you are not calculating your work in progress accounting adjustment, your WIPAA, each month, then your financial reports are not going to make too much sense to anyone, no matter if you look at them monthly, quarterly, or even annually. So calculating your work in progress accounting adjustment figure each month is the first number you must be across in your financials. The next one is revenue. And this is why we look at the numbers quarterly rather than monthly, because revenue can easily get distorted by the timing of your invoices to your clients. However, over a 90-day period of time, things tend to even out. So it's important to look at your revenue and compare it to your budget, last quarter's revenue, and your revenue for the same period last year. That helps with taking seasonal fluctuations into account. The third most important number to look at in your construction financials is your gross profit margin. This is your gross profit, which is the revenue from your projects less the cost of sales relating to your projects as a percentage of your total revenue. A lot of builders confuse this with markup, which is totally different, so don't get caught out. The benchmark for custom home builders is 25% margin, which is a 33.3% markup. So make sure you are checking your gross margin every quarter and comparing it to your target gross margin, last quarter's gross margin, and your gross margin for the same period last year. When you do that, you'll see how much margin you are actually getting out of your jobs compared to how much margin you are adding to your jobs when you price them. And that may be a bit of an eye-opener for you, especially if you are not achieving the industry benchmark. Financial KPI number 4 is your fixed expense ratio. Fixed expenses are any costs that cannot be directly attributed to a project. Things like rent, admin staff, and software costs. On its own, this figure does not mean too much unless it's higher than your gross profit. The way to look at your fixed expenses is as a percentage of revenue, which is known as your fixed expense ratio. The benchmark for a residential building company is 15%, which includes the owner's salary at market rate and a healthy investment in advertising and marketing of around 3% of revenue. It is possible to artificially lower this ratio by either not drawing a salary or by investing very little in marketing and advertising. So they are the 2 key areas to look at closely when you calculate this number and compare your building company to others in the industry. And finally, financial KPI number 5 for custom home builders is net profit margin. Net profit margin is the profit left over in your building company after accounting for all of your project costs and fixed expenses and then calculating it as a percentage of your total revenue. If you are not taking a salary and instead are drawing the net profit the company makes as income, then your building company isn't really making a profit. It's just breaking even. And that's a very risky situation to be in because after a few quiet months, you are out of business. The industry benchmark for a custom home building company is 10% net profit margin. A well-run building company will operate between 10% and 15% net profit, depending on where they are in their growth cycle and market conditions. Sadly though, most custom home building companies are not achieving double-digit net profit margins because they are focusing on revenue rather than margins and ratios. A professional builder will look at all 5 financial KPIs in order to understand how well their building company is doing, rather than just focusing on the bank balance. To gain a full understanding of construction financials, check out our latest book, Professional Builders' Secrets. Inside, you'll discover how to generate more quality leads and convert more of those leads into sales at higher margins while improving the client experience. Click on the special link below to receive your free copy.